Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very interesting review, long-term impressions if you will, of a knife that I received a little while ago that I was very excited to get. It's one that I've been hunting down for a bit. It is this Knives, this is a Brian Brown design. This is the Trogon. So if you're familiar with this is one of his designs that he came out with. I have his Brian Brown, the Raptor version 2, which is a great knife. But this is the Trogon, another Brian Brown design that Knives came out with. And it was like next to impossible to find. And what I really wanted was the one with the fuller. And that's what this one has right here. So let's kind of talk about this knife a little bit. So let me describe a little bit about the materials and everything about the knife. So this is a titanium frame, and it is bronze anodized. Now, one thing you've noticed if you look closely, it is milled. Beautiful texture on here, and it's definitely a very distinct texture you can feel. And you can see that it's even on the clip back here as well. Very nice. And you see that anodization in bronze. It's all the way into the holes here, these speed holes that he has. And then the hardware is accented with the bronze as well. And the thumb stud, the screws, the logo, the pivot screw here on the back, even the screws that are going in here for the over travel stop, or the over travel stop, or the steel insert. Sorry, couldn't think of it right away. But this is an anodization. It looks a little bit like what you would see probably with was it the Rec exclusive, the River's Edge cutlery. I have their Raptor version 2, which is a River's Edge cutlery, and it's very similar to this design, which I like because it matches. So that's kind of nice, right? Deep pocket build carry clip is really nice. It has some nice flexibility, so it goes in and out of the pocket really well. It's not super long, it's not super short. It definitely is deep carry, goes about so far, so deep, which is nice. As you can see as well, the design in the shape and everything is really compact, but it's not a small knife. It's definitely got some size to it, as you can see. All right, so that's all the tight. Oh, it does have a little lanyard loop here in the back, or a pin, so you can definitely get your lanyards in here, but it's not prioritized. So those of you who love lanyards, you can definitely do that. I kind of like this. It's a beautiful aesthetic for a lanyard. I mean, if you're going to do a lanyard pin like this, that is just really nice. I like that. I like that a lot. So anyways, all right, so let's go ahead and open up this. Now it is a Tanto blade shape. It's compound grind. This is a hollow grind here, flat grind on the very tip. As you can see that, this is a black stonewashed blade color on the, and this is CPM 20 CV blade steel. And if you know anything about, I don't think it's marked on here. I don't know if they even marked it on here, did they? No, I don't think so. Can't even see it on here, but it's CPM 20 CV blade steel. Which is comparable to M390. It's got great edge retention, sharpening ability, toughness, and corrosion resistance. It's a great combination. It's definitely what they call a premium super steel. Really nice. I love the thumb stud. Nice volcano shape there to get easily access to it. The fuller is really nice. It's sharp enough that you can get great traction and friction with your finger or your nail, so that's really nice, but it's not so sharp it's going to rip you apart. So that's really cool. It comes to a very thin edge, very sliceability. That sharp tip, as you can see, comes up, is pretty strong and thick at the very top, which is really nice. Definitely has a swedge, so you can definitely navigate a cut in there, so that's really cool. And the action on this is phenomenal, right? It is a frame lock. Like I said, it has a steel bar insert that locks against the tang, so it's steel and steel. It's not going to have lock stick. Has the over travel stop, which works really well. The texture is everywhere over here. The accents is really sweet. It's caged ceramic ball bearing, so the action is just phenomenal. You can see the drop there. Dead center as far as centering. The lockup here is a good excuse me, it's a good 30%, so that's really solid as well. I like that. It's got some nice jimping on top here. That's really great. And this fuller, great for reverse flicking. Very nice. It's a relatively small frame lock bar there, and because the clip is nice and far long, it's really easy to reverse flick. It's really easy to use the thumb studs, and even with my hand a little bit on here, you know, it reverse flicks really well. Really nice. So you have multiple deployments. I really like that a lot. That makes it a lot of fun. And the action is so smooth. Right out of the gate, I did not have to put any Skiff washers in here. I did that with my Hyphen. That was a limited edition. Love that one. And that made a big difference in that one. Maybe not big, but it made a difference. It was significant enough that it was nice. You noticed it here. I don't think I would do that. I mean, it's just, the action is just really sweet. it's been perfect ever since. I have not had any issues whatsoever. So that's really nice. It is a full back spacer. There's not standoffs in the back, as you can see. What else do we got? We got the jimping up there. You can definitely notice when I reach in here, it's a full finger grip. I have medium, large hands. Mine are large in widthwise because they're meaty fingers. They're medium because they're lengthwise. So I have enough room here. So definitely, I think an extra large or even double X would probably have still room on here for sure. As you can see, the cutout has definitely a little relief up here, so you can definitely get to that. It is chamfered, and there's even milling on that. Did you see that? Even milling on that. That's a nice little touch, so that you can easily get to that. And when you draw it, you've got plenty of clearance with the sharpening choil and the back of the blade there. You're not going to have blade falling on your nail or your finger, so you can easily drop that and you're fine. And then the action just drop shuts. Beautiful drop shut action. You see that? So it's really, really nice. You can definitely choke up. There's not really a finger choil, but you can definitely pull your finger up here, choke up with right here, and my finger, even with the jimping right here, pulling tight back here, I'm going to be pretty much clear. Unless you got giant meaty fingers, you're going to be pretty clear for a push cut, right? It's got the little tip board there for a tanto blade, so you can definitely cut with that. So that's really nice. I like that. And then, of course, you see the Brian Brown design right there. It's on the blade. Typically, it's on this cutout. But if you notice, it's typical the three little cutouts there. They didn't put it in there. But this is nicely chamfered, too. It's not sharp. A lot of times, sharpness like this will be a pant ripper thing because it's so sharp here. It'll cut up everything. So that's really nice. And the deep pocket carry clip goes just far enough on the lock bar that it's actually another over travel stop kind of gatekeeper. So that's really nice. All right, so that's a little bit about the materials. Let's talk about the lock and how it closes. Definitely a frame lock. Definitely closes really well. Locks up really solidly. You can hear that nice click. Goes into place every time. That's good. And then when you go down to the close to the detent, you can definitely hear the detent. Locks in really well. There's no detent lash, and it's fully locked. There's no blade rock. That's all really great. Everything about this is very fidgety. I've got to tell you, this has become one of my most, if not the most fun fidgety knife I have. And a spoiler, I really like this. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the measurements. All right, so let's go ahead and weigh that. So it's 4.4 ounces. It's a little heavy. It's a big boy. Yeah, so it's definitely got some weight to it. 4.4 ounces. Definitely see that. And part of that is because, as we can see in here, there is not a whole lot of milling going on. If you can see that in there, there's not a whole lot of milling. We got some speed hole milling, but that's it. There's not a whole lot of other milling. I mean, the scales aren't super thick, but they aren't milled out. So there's not a whole lot of weight relief. Let's go ahead and measure the length of the blade. All right, from the tip to the back of the blade, we're talking about 3 and I want to say 1/8, maybe 1/16 of an inch. The cutting edge from the tip there back is going to be right at 3 and 1/16 of an inch, right? So yeah, they're almost lined up. So I'm going to say 1/8 of an inch from the tip to where the handle is, and 1/16 to the cutting edge, right? And if we look at the cutting edge from here to here, we are looking at, with that angler kind of the way that you measure that is like, here's the cutting edge to here to here. We're almost at 3 1/4 inches, right? So almost 3 1/4 inches with there. So that's now look at the handle from where your hand would normally fall into. It's just about 3 3/4 of an inch right there. If you do the choke up position all the way up to here, you have about 4 1/2 inches. So definitely a lot of room if you're willing to choke up. And definitely even right here going all the way to the very tip, you've got well over 3 3/4 of an inch. So that's really nice. All right, overall length of the knife, as we said before, was 7 3/4 of an inch. So it's just a little under 8 inches, but definitely over 7 inches. All right, let's go ahead and measure the blade stock. All right, so let's measure how thick that is. So it's a pretty hefty blade stock, if you can see that. Let me get that up here. So we're at 0.1645. So 165/100th of an inch. It's pretty thick at the thickest part. If we look at if we get to kind of where the blade is down here, yeah, it's 157/100ths of an inch. It's a relatively blade stock. It's definitely between 1/10 and 2/10 of an inch. It's definitely a thinner, robust blade. You can definitely see that tip coming up. It comes to a pretty sharp point, and very thin here, but this is definitely going to allow for some poking into boxes and to packaging, bags of fertilizer, cat food, dog food, cat litter, whatever things you're trying to get out, sand, whatever. So very, very, very nice as far as that knife category. All right, so this knife category definitely goes in, excuse me, is definitely in the high end. It's definitely above $275. It's around $300 for this about. I think it was $296. So this is definitely a high-end knife. Definitely worth what I think of the money. Everything that you get for this and the quality and the craftsmanship is definitely, to me, is some of the best WE stuff I've seen. I will dare say that as a high-end knife, this is one of the nicer high-end WE knives I have out there. I mean, I like the Makani, I like the Hi-Fin. Those are two phenomenal WE knives that I enjoy in my collection as well, but this one is really phenomenal. So what's the purpose of this? Definitely EDC. Could this be a hard use knife? Absolutely could be a hard use knife. You could beat the snot out of it if you want. I feel very confident. The frame lock, everything feels solid about this knife. It feels like it could take a beating and keep on going. Now, for 95% of us, it'll be just EDC. We'll be cutting boxes, envelopes, letters, packaging, cases of water, the wraps around the 6-pack of sodas and whatever. That's what we'll mainly be doing with this. I wouldn't recommend this to go beating, cutting logs and cutting metal wires and, making firewood and stuff like that. Get a fixed blade for that. But if that's your cup of tea, I think it would do well. But again, I would never use anything but a fixed blade for that. That's just my recommendation. But this would definitely be a good work knife, I think. I don't think you would be disappointed at all. But the action and everything of this, for me, makes this a beautiful carry in church, executive party, cocktail party, a beautiful knife. I love the anodization. The bronze anodization just has a beautiful, beautiful look to it. Just really fantastic with the milling and the design. I think that's the purpose of what I would use it for, and most people will. All right, so the ergos and the feel. The ergos and the feel on this knife, the knife handle is phenomenal. It is just contoured, and I don't know if you can see that. There's definitely a contoured shape all the way around. Let me close it here on this side. You can definitely see the contoured shape of the blade. And the corners are all chamfered all the way around the edges, so there's nothing sharp biting in. Even the deep pocket carry clip is contoured and softened around the edges as well. So that is great, and the handle shape is phenomenal. There's no hot spots for me. I don't feel it. I mean, I can feel the clip, but it doesn't dig in or hurt or anything like that. It's because it's a little longer, I feel it, but it's comfortable. Really is comfortable, and when I choke up, definitely is fine as well. All right, so everything feels good as far as that grip. The deployment on this one is very satisfying. It is very satisfying. Now, easily flip with a front reverse flip, and easily flip with the fuller. Really, really nice. Now, some people might complain that they might think the detent's a little light. I tend to tune my knives to get the detent a little lighter because I find them too strong. I did not have to do that at all with this knife. So on that case, you might think it's a little light. You might want to, tune it and make it a little tighter for yourself if you don't like it a lot. It is a little bit, it's close to what I would want for like a front flipper, but because it has a fuller, I enjoy that part really a lot. So, that might be the only thing. So you definitely can easily reverse, front flip, and fuller flip this knife, both right and left-handed. Really, really enjoy that. It's very fidgety because that closing is phenomenal. It's just drop shut. And the cutout and everything here, because of that little milling right there and how smooth that is, and it's got a little relief, your hand does not get tired flipping this. I mean, I have literally found myself flipping this for like an hour more, not realizing I had not stopped at all. And my hand, my thumb, fingers were not hurting at all. Which, yeah, talks a little bit about my ADHD, right? You can definitely see that someone who could do that for that long period of time, they must need fidget toys. Yeah, I do, and there's no question about that. But, it's a lot of fun. I'll just say that much. The closing, the jimping, everything, the action is just some of the best action I've ever seen. Just phenomenal. So fidget factor on this one, I'm going to give this one a 10. This is the best fidget factor knife I have ever had yet. There's a lot of great fidget knives out there, but this one is right up there. Just really phenomenal. I just find it so satisfying to fidget and play with, but I also feel like it's so confident that it's going to be sharp and work. Now, I have stropped this really nicely, and it retains its edge super, super well. So stropping and keeping the edge has been fantastic. So fidget factor, like I said, 10, awesome. Overall thoughts, and is it recommended? Yeah, my overall thoughts are this knife is fantastic. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And I cannot recommend it enough. Yeah, this is definitely the most recommended knife and most recommended high-end knives. Definitely need to check this out if you can get a hold of it. I thought this was a limited edition. I don't think it is, so I think there'll be more available as they come out. So check it out. Definitely get this knife. I think, honestly, my personal opinion, this is WE Knives' best knife yet. That's just my opinion. Now, granted, I've had limited access to WE knives. I've maybe only tried 30 or 40 of their WE knives, and I know they've got a ton more, but this is their best WE knives yet. I'm sorry, you can hear the people in the background, my family yelling, but this is the best WE knife ever, and I highly recommend this and think that you should definitely get this in your collection if you can. It is worth every penny. The craftsmanship on this is phenomenal. All the little accents, all the little touches to me make this knife absolutely worth the money. Really does. Absolutely worth the money. That's just my opinion. You may disagree, and that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of choices out there, and you can certainly get other things. I love the Riot made Raptor version 2 by Brian Brown. Phenomenal, but this one is just that much better. So I'm going to recommend this and think you should check it out. So if you have any questions or comments you'd like to leave me, please do so in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Any questions about future reviews, things you'd like to see, or any ideas, suggestions for Rob's ramblings, or questions about this knife, I will definitely try to answer that and reply to you. I do try to get to all those comments. And if you found this content fun, interesting, or worthwhile, please consider liking this video. It sure helps me to know that this content's of value and helps me to keep producing more content. And then if you like this video, would you consider subscribing to my channel for more content? I sure would appreciate that. It also helps me. And then if you like my content and you've already subscribed, would you consider clicking the notification button so you can be notified of future videos that I will drop in the future, obviously. And then if you liked all of that, maybe check me out on Instagram. If you wouldn't mind, check me out on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. That's robs_nerdy_knives. I sure would appreciate you checking me out over there, and the way you can contact me there as well. And hey, thanks so much for watching this review today. I sure appreciate it. You guys have a great day and a great week. Bye.